Hi guys, welcome to another concept video from the GMAT guy. Well, this video is going to be dedicated on solving only one kind of problems, which is speed, distance, time problems. So if you are having problem with those kind of questions in GMAT, math or GRE math, just follow this video, look at how I approach them and you'll be fine. Okay, so speed, distance, time. Two things quick to remember. One is that this old formula from the school that you might have heard of 100 times, speed is equal to distance over time. This is how these three quantities are related to each other. Okay, a quick way to remember this is distance never comes in the denominator, so you never divide by distance. Okay, distance is always in the numerator. That will help. The next thing you need to know is average speed. You know, there are questions where, for the first hour, Tom traveled 50 kilometers per hour. For the next 3 hours, he traveled at 70 kilometers per hour. For the next 45 minutes, he traveled at 80 kilometers per hour, and so forth until he reached his destination. What was his average speed? Average speed is nothing but total distance divided by total time. So it's the same formula, okay? This is the formula for average speed. You don't, in average speed questions, you never do, speed 1 plus speed 2 plus speed 3 divided by number of speeds. No, you don't take the average of the speeds, you will get it wrong. Okay, I'll give you an example. If there, actually, no, I won't give you an example. Okay, so example will be another video. I need to keep the videos short. So just remember that whenever you're dealing with average speed question, do not, if you're given speed for different sections of the journey, for example, in the first hour he traveled at speed 1, and in the next phase he's traveled at speed 2, and this, I'll just add up the speeds and calculate the average of the speeds. Even if it's for the same hours, do not do it. Always follow the formula total distance divided by total time and you'll be fine. Okay, so in the interest of saving your time, let's get to the next portion. There are two kind of setups for speed, distance, time when there are multiple objects involved. If there are two people, A and B, they can either be traveling towards each other, or there can be a chase where A is chasing B. In other words, they both are traveling in the same direction. Now, in the first situation, let's say that you have two objects A and B and they are traveling towards each other. Okay, let's say A travels at 2 kilometers per hour, okay, and B travels at 1 kilometers per hour. Okay, what will happen is that after 1 hour, B would have gone 1 kilometer, would have traveled 1 kilometer, while A would have traveled 2 kilometers. Okay, what would happen to the total distance between them? The distance between them would have reduced by 3. Okay, would have reduced by 3 from the original distance, right? Let's say the original distance was D. So as you can see, every hour both A and B are working together to remove the distance from between them. So they're kind of in the same team. When you're looking at the gap, I call this the distance between them as the gap, right? So the gap is reducing at a faster rate. So remember, this is good enough, should be good enough to explain why in this kind of a situation the speed at which the gap is reducing is actually equal to the speed of A plus speed of B. So the speeds add up because both the objects A and B are working towards reducing the gap. In the second situation, let's say A is traveling at speed A, which is, let's say, 3 kilometers per hour, and B is running away, okay, in the same direction but at 2 kilometers per hour, and let's say that's speed B, and let's say the distance between them is the gap. Yep. What will happen after 1 hour? B would have traveled after 1 hour, so after 1 hour, B would have reached somewhere here. That's B's location. So B would have traveled 2 kilometers, and A would be somewhere here. Sorry for the messy drawing. A would have traveled 3 kilometers. Okay, so what would be the new distance between A and B? This would be gap minus 1. Why is it minus 1? The reason for that is that A is at a position which is plus 3 from 0, okay, and B is at a position, let's say this position was position gap. B now is at gap plus 2. So when A gains 3, B gains 2, overall the distance between them gets reduced by 1 because A traveled 1 extra kilometers. Okay, so that 1 extra kilometer, that difference, what is the catching up, what is the object behind, the one that is catching up, what is it doing extra? That is the bit that will help to gain on B, right? And so that is why in this kind of a situation, the speed at which the gap reduces or increases, it'll increase if object B was faster, then the gap would increase, right? The distance between these two would increase. But if the guy behind is faster, then the gap would reduce until A and B meet, and then A overtakes B and goes ahead. So the speed at which the gap changes, increases or decreases, is the difference between the two speeds. Okay, so these are two quick things to remember about the two situations in speed, distance, time. Now, how do I go about attacking a speed, distance, time problem, right? There are two tools that will help you a lot. Firstly, you always have to draw a sketch. So I'm going to try to read out a problem, and this is a fictional problem, I'm creating it, but as I do, I will draw out the sketch, and then I will draw out the table, and these are the two tools you will use to solve the problem. Okay, so let's say A and B are some distance away. Let's say they are 500 kilometers away from each other. Okay, all right. Then the question says that for the first 2 hours, A and B both travel towards each other, okay, at their respective speeds. Let's say speed A and speed B. So they travel for 2 hours, right? Remember, for 2 hours. Now their position is somewhere here. That's A2, and that's B2. Then they say that A stops, but B continues to travel at its own original speed. Okay, and then they say that B reaches where A is, okay, after 3 hours. Alright, so 3 hours. Okay? Yeah? Alright. Now this is a kind of a complicated problem, but what happens is that when you sketch, you can draw the table simultaneously. Now I should have done that simultaneously, but I didn't, so sorry about that. Always look at this kind of an arrangement. It'll help you organize the information. Distance. Okay. Alright, so distance, speed, time. Let's say the first situation, when both of them were moving, okay, we had first situation A and first situation B, and then we have, let's say, the first scene. Okay, so let's remove this one. A had a speed of S of A, and B has a speed of B. Okay, together for the first 2 hours they were traveling together, right? So I'm going to write 2, and when they were traveling towards each other, their speeds add up. So I'm trying to calculate what happens to the gap, right? The distance they travel is 2 times speed of A plus speed of B. So notice how these three, distance, speed, time, are connected to each other. In this table, if you have two quantities, like in the third column, we had the speed and we had the time, we could immediately express the distance in terms of these two. And then what I would do is, the second situation, I would go, okay, Second situation was A was stationary, but B continued traveling for 3 more hours. That was speed of B. So the distance it traveled was 3 sp. Okay, well, I can already start drawing out equations from this. I know that these two distances in 1 and 2 adds up to 500. So I can tell 2 over SA plus SB plus 3SB is equal to 500. And so forth, right? You're getting the idea. The gist is that you can actually organize the information and you can already start seeing the equations or the solution if you have organized your data in this method. Over 5 years of teaching GMAT and GRE, I've noticed that for speed, distance, time problem, drawing the sketch and then making a table like this always helps me solve the problem really fast. I hope it helps you too. See you in the next video. We'll do work rate time in that. Till then, goodbye.